All right, welcome back for our third match here, week 2 for XCL will be one league. We got Spaghetti Mitch, who frequent broadcast partner of mine, especially for the top 8 yesterday. He's taking his seat under the feature match spotlight tonight, taking on Ryan D, and Justin's going to be looking at it from his point of view. He's been one of our most frequent players in the feature matches. I tallied up his record was 6-3, so lots of feature matches and lots of wins in the feature match. So he's looking to keep that up. But Mitch is off to a hot start here, 6-1 so far, and Ryan is at I believe 4-4. So they're both got a couple games left to play this week still. What's Ryan looking at there while Mitch is taking a mulligan?
It looks like we're having streaming difficulties here on his part.
All right, if there's a stream issue, you might want to send him a message there.
I have. He just
okay.
Hasn't responded.
Yeah, sometimes these things happen, but
yes. What does that WST waiting room mean?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's something I should know, but maybe because it's 10 p.m. And I've been talking about Magic for like 6 hours or something over the last 2 days. It's escaping me. But so Reggie Mulligan here, he has what I'm calling green-red Atraxa, which is, again, it's a elegant way of saying it's kind of a 5-color deck, but it's base green-red. So he's starting green-red, and he has splashes off of that. We can see in his hand, Glissa and the Tamiyo's Immobilizer. So he's offering the trade here for Glissa, since his creature has first strike. Ryan is not going to accept the trade because the 2/2 can't block Glissa because it only has first strike on his turn.
Yep.
So he's joking that he's going to give up, but Glissa is really a snowball card because first of all, it's basically unblockable for all intents and purposes unless you have a first strike creature or like 4/4s or something like that. So it's again very difficult creature to block, and just the advantage just snowballs out of control here.
Like it's even impossible to attack into really. Like just first strike, touch, lethal combo. Yeah. And then you decide to give it abilities when it hits opponents in this iteration of it.
Yeah, it draws cards. He could literally even take all the counters off the incubation sack and just make it have no text anymore if he wanted to.
That's funny.
But so it just keeps drawing cards he can't cast. This is what we see sometimes. Tonight's been a bit of a night of one player doesn't get to do all that much, which you never like to see. We like to see, back and forth competitive matches, but sometimes we see games where one player draws, all the lands or none of the lands. He's gonna give a go of it here for now, but the Glissa's gonna make it, considerably harder. Has Ryan got his stream up and running just yet, or?
It seems to be still loading out.
Okay, that's unfortunate. Hopefully he checks his messages and gets that running, but like I said, we have one stream here, so we're still functioning for the time being. Here's Rhea Ivor. We could take a minute to mention this card. I can't make heads or tails of this card, whether it's good or not. I can't figure it out.
I like to think of this card as a 3/4 with Battlecry and with no other text. If you think of it as a 3/4 with Battlecry, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, so doesn't he just want to deal 2 damage to him rather than make 2 1/1s? I'm just like, I think I'd just rather hit my opponent for 2.
Well, I think in this situation it's fine because the 1/1s will be 2 power with the Reivor in play, and if you're right now in Mitch's mastered state, like getting a wider board is hard to deal with than just having many one singular creature.
All right, so we don't know if Ryan can save his Glissa, but there's a Volt charge here too that has now been unlocked with the 3rd land.
Yeah, he might have some pump spell, as there are many in this set, to save it.
Ryan's just keeping on the pressure here with the Skitterfang. Yeah, I had the chance. I was drafting a black-white deck, and it got passed to me in the 2nd or 3rd pack. And I think I just took a removal spell over it, because I just couldn't make heads or tails of it, and I said, I'll just take, it was, I think, Planar Disruption or something. I said, well, I always know what that card does. This card, strange. And like Battle Cry just being a mechanic that's on one card. Card just, again, just rings as a very strange design to me, but um, I get that you can get some mites, and then the battle cry gives the mites extra power, so you get to do all sorts of fun stuff here. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
so
weird
here it
because
comes.
this four drop is kind of replaceable if you think about it. It's very unique, but like it's kind of also replaceable just in the scheme of things.
Yeah, I just like, I think like in the black white deck, you just want like an indoctrination attendant. I think if your black white deck is toxic, you just take one of those a lot of the time. But he's at least getting this Glissa dead, but he's taking what is this, 10? Like or no, not 10, 3 less than that because of the Ria Ivor ability. I mean, when your opponent's stuck on lands, just about anything you play is going to be impactful. So, like I said, I don't know if he's dying faster, if he lets his Bone Picker Scourge deal damage and not make mites, but he's certainly going to be dead on this coming turn, especially if he's just tapping out for one creature here. Battle Cry will pump everything up to the point where he will be at a negative life total. So yeah, so I mean, if I'm Ryan, I don't know if I even want to show that removal spell. Like, no need. Like, he's extremely dead with the battle cry. So
Well, the thing about showing that is like it's not that much information. Like it's not a
yeah,
very unique effect. Everyone will have an Anoint with Affliction with their deck. It just depends, like if they draw it.
yeah, just like
It's just one of the staple cards that
yeah,
that people will have if they're playing black.
yeah, just unnecessary there with the the board being overrun by those 1/1s. So yeah, looking at Mitch's deck, like I said, green red. He has a couple white cards, a blue card, a black card, and then a Traxa to tie the whole room together. Not too much fixing here. I think he's hoping for some for some fortunate draws. But like I said, if he draws green or red sources, he'll be able to play like over 90% of his deck, which is you know about all you can ask for. He's on one loss also, so he doesn't have a large pool yet. But yeah, Atrax is a really interesting card. 4 colors is asking a lot. I do think it pays you back for what it asks of you, but you do want to cast it as as soon as you can when it's in your hand.
Yeah, the card when it's played always often draws you like 3 to 5 cards. That's gonna get you a land with a creature, instant, sorcery, probably artifact because there are many of those in the set. But it'll draw you like between 3 and 5 cards every time.
Yeah, 7 mana, 7/7 stabilizes you like life total wise. Has life link, vigilance. So yeah, cool card. They went big with that design, and yeah, it's doable. It's just and if there were like dual lands or something at common, it would be a bit more attainable than it is. It's quite hard, but doable. Between
Okay.
Terramorphic Expanse, Phyrexian Atlas, and other things that go and fetch you lands. So Mitch is looking at a pretty uninspiring hand here. He has the Dragonwing Glider, the rare equipment that turns creatures into effectively dragons, a free from flesh, and 5 lands. So I don't know how comfortable he is keeping a hand like that. Yeah, he's gonna mulligan that. And Ryan is keeping. We unfortunately don't know the content of his hand because his stream went down. But
Well, it actually was working for a bit, and now it
okay,
says stream paused again because he minimized it.
all right. Like I said,
Oh well.
unfortunate, but
Yeah.
we can see from Mitch's point of view, and we know he's mostly would look like a white green deck or white black. Sorry, he did have forest though. Yeah, so Mitch has he is what we'll call a nominally functional hand. Yeah, he can play 2 drops, but as soon as his opponent starts interacting or playing blockers, he's just gonna have creatures sitting there not doing much, and he's without one of his main colors as well. Right, Dune Mover. Yeah, this is a card that is sort of talked about it last week in the feature match, but this card has been more effective than it looked like it was going to be. we'll say that much.
Yeah, and this kind of set and every prior iteration of it, where it's been like a 2-drop creature that gets a land on top of your deck, it's always been pretty poor because it puts it on top of your deck, and you don't want to draw those lands usually.
Yeah. Just something about this set just makes it just good enough with the toxic. Like we saw that Campus Guide in Strixhaven, it was almost never played. The fixing was much better. Like it's also kind of a necessary in some. It's like kind of necessary in some of the decks. You don't necessarily you're not necessarily thrilled about it, but you play it anyway. Yeah, so he has this Axiom Engraver to at least try and look for try and look for some lands here because this is a rough go of it. Yeah, this is not quite going to work out, unfortunately. So this is a place where this is a place where and it's interesting because John P when he does his interviews now he asks people for questions for whoever's being interviewed and Johnny proposed a question about bluffing and I think this would have been a perfect place to bluff that attack with the 2/2 into the Glissa, like he did the last game. Last game he actually had the trick to trade for it, but Ryan doesn't want to lose the Glissa, so that might have been
Yeah.
a perfect opportunity to just send in that guy and hope try and get in 2 damage here, right? If you want to hear Justin's answer about that, you'll have to wait till the podcast comes out later this week. But yeah, he did. Like Ryan showed last game, he does not want to trade his Glissa for a 2/2 token and a pump spell. It's much more valuable than that. I was gonna say if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to twist the knife here, you could have taken the counter off of the Axiom Engraver. So deny Mitchell look at an extra card here, but you'd rather just take the card in his own hand. He's not a monster. So he's drawn a mountain, which is unfortunate because the cards that he would like to cast or could cast this turn are green. Predation Steward, Adaptive Spore Singer, and the Incubation Sac. So he's going to have to go looking for a forest here, I think, with his engraver. Okay, so he's left his engraver back, I assume, to possibly block and then use the ability.
Maybe trying to just stem the bleeding here. Probably doesn't want to let his opponent get too far ahead with Glissa.
Yeah, it's already going to be a little too late for that. He's already in pretty deep here. I mean, he still has a reasonable life total, but he can't cast spells, and his opponent is developing just fine. So he didn't use it on his turn, which is strange because if he used it on his turn, he could have just played a creature. I guess he was thinking about blocking the Dune Mover, at least holding the Dune Mover back from attacking him. But yeah, he's up against it here. Yeah, sometimes we get a night of feature matches where they're all super competitive and back and forth, and sometimes we get a night like tonight where matches fall, like we see a little one-sided due to no fault of the players.
Yeah, it's just a part of Magic, the variance of it all. We all know it too well.
Oh yeah, and we come back to the game. We like the game that much that we tolerate these frustrating situations where the mana system just either gives us nothing or gives us too much. But we like the game too much. So yeah, he's got
Gotta
his
be,
forest here, but it's going to be on delay of a turn, unfortunately.
yeah. I mean, it's got to be the complexity of the game, right? You're not gonna find really any other game, sort of like Magic the Gathering, where it just keeps compiling things on top of each other.
Yeah, it's been around for so long, and they're introducing like 15 new mechanics like every year or something like that, like
Yeah,
between the normal sets and the supplementary sets, and
yeah,
like we're just getting bombarded with all different type of things and how they combine with old cards and yeah, that's part of why we come back. But you know luckily this doesn't happen too often, but we've seen it tonight a disproportionate amount of times. Yeah, so here comes Glissa again. Just an insane design. I don't know who decided to make a first strike death touch 3 power creature for 3 mana, but
I think
it might as
I,
well say unblockable on it.
I think the person who created it actually you know, gave his reason for the this card because he wanted the original Glissa, not the original Glissa, but the Phyrexianized Glissa back in the Scars of Mirrored and
I think it
Block.
was called Glissa the Traitor.
Yeah, I think it was that. It was mostly most or less just a 3/3 first strike death touch, with some artifact matters effect.
Right.
But they wanted to keep the first strike death touch, and also they wanted to keep its power toughness intact. But they wanted to do more for it, and that's why it has this text of getting ahead.
I think they could have. I think they could have made it 4 mana and maybe
Yeah,
added a color symbol somewhere, like a second black or something, like one black,
yeah,
one green. Yeah. Now here comes a Vivisection Evangelist to kind of just sort of close this one out unceremoniously here. Yeah, everything's coming in. So he's not dead, but he's dead enough that he doesn't want to continue. He was going to go to one. Yeah, again, we see the mana troubles. So sad to see it end that way. Mitch has a really, really cool looking deck. When that deck works, it's probably, one of the more fun decks to watch in action. But we see Ryan taking it, so congratulations to him. And thanks everybody for watching.